The following video took place during mid-2022 and was a part of a large ghost hunt. A man called Ellis, alongside his partner Sylvia, were both fond of exploring haunted territory, and they often came across some interesting stuff. I chose this clip because of the importance of the location. The building was on the same street as the graveyard in which the father of Ellis had been buried after unfortunately passing away. Sylvia had always wanted to visit the place, but of course, since Ellis had his dead father nearby, he was not so keen, but she managed to convince him. This is a clip from their adventure.
¿Y qué puedo hacer? ¿No puedo abrir la puerta? ¿Sí la pude abrir, mira? ¿Sí? ¿Sí la pude abrir, amigos? ¿Será? ¿Sí la pude abrir, amigos? ¿Me meteré? ¿No va? ¿Para qué va? Porque no va a ser que me regañen, va. Vamos a ver si nos podemos meter, amigos. Vamos a ver si nos podemos meter. ¿Hay alguien aquí adentro? ¡Uy! Cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta. No me meto, madre. No me meto, no me meto. Amigos, cerraron la puerta, amigos, cerraron la puerta. ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? Se miró bien clarito, amigos. Como que alguien está aquí adentro. ¿Hay alguien ahí? Uy. Uy, Gary. ¡Mira, se volvió a abrir la puerta, Gary! Se volvió a abrir la puerta, ¿lo viste? ¿Hay alguien?
¿Alguien para acá?
Sí caminó alguien, sí caminó alguien, sí caminó alguien, sí caminó alguien.
Una sombra blanca, ¿no?
¿Hay alguien aquí? ¿Qué es? Mira, mira. ¿Lo viste? ¿Quieres que me meta? ¿Quieres que me meta? ¿Dónde estás? Me voy a meter. Me voy a meter. No me meto, no, ¿qué me anda metiendo? ¿Qué me anda metiendo?
Es que no te debes meter a las capillas.
Alguien está adentro, Gladys. Alguien está adentro. Mira, ¿viste que se abrió y se cerró? ¿Quién eres?
They heard a lot of noises from the inside of this room, and that is what prompted Ellis to start recording the situation. When his phone came out, the haunting stopped for a brief moment, and he was actually ready to end the recording. But fortunately, the paranormal levels spiked again, and he gained his evidence of the situation, and more importantly, content. After capturing this, Ellis thought that he had gained enough content from the building and prompted Sylvia to head home with him. Beforehand though, he wanted to visit the local graveyard to give his father a visit, but little did he know that this graveyard also had high paranormal activity rates.
Vamos para acá. Yo sé que te encuentras aquí. Vamos, amigos, clientes compartidos. Vamos a poner el Spirit Box, amigos, para ver dónde está esa mujer. Gracias, Adrián Pozos. Uy, uy, que se cayó algo aquí. ¿Quién está aquí? Ay, Dios. Ay, Dios. ¿Hola? Uy, alguien venía, no manches. ¿Quién se encuentra en este lugar? John Herrán. Gracias, Mata. Uy. Ay, Dios, se movió el vaso. Ay. Si estás aquí, manifiéstate, quiero verte. Quiero saber quién eres. Quiero que te manifiestes, estás aquí en este lugar. Miau. Ay, abajo se miró algo. Ay, abajo se miró algo, amigos. ¿Quién está hablando? No manches. ¿Estás aquí? Uy. ¿Estás aquí? ¿Aquí te encuentras? Vamos a poner Spirit Bots, amigos. Vamos a poner Spirit Bots. Bien.
The levels of paranoia were through the roof immediately after Ellis entered the graveyard, and he just had to take out his mobile camera again. This time he caught movements that were obviously not influenced by a visible force. Furthermore, it was not a windy night whatsoever, and was nowhere near windy enough to move objects. Paired with what he had seen in the building prior, Ellis was certain that this was a spirit, and assuming it was not his father, he left the site or as soon as he could. Lean loved being home alone, and he was not ashamed of the reasons why. Whilst he of course loved his wife to absolute pieces, something about being in the house all by himself was soothing to him, and nobody could change his mind. The lack of sound, the weight off from his shoulders, these were the times that he felt his most peaceful, but of course, spirits are not a fan of peace. In the video that you are about to be exposed to, Lean was relaxing in his bed, whilst no one else was in the household. He was content as ever, and was scrolling Instagram reels, but unfortunately, this peace had to come to an end. Have a watch.
Son 2:15 de la mañana. Estaba por contar que pasó una sombra caminando, sentí una presencia que pasó para el baño. Pasó una sombra para el baño, no sé si ir a revisar, se están cayendo las cosas acá. No sé si... Entró acá al baño, lo vi caminar, pero traspasó la puerta, es increíble. Muchos me dicen que grabe el espejo, pero no hay nada. No sé. Estoy grabando. Se escucha risa. ¿Qué es adentro? Es adentro. Acá se caen las cosas, ¿no? Ya no sé. Acá. Sé qué hacer, ¿no? Se me está viendo opaco el celular. Se me está quedando como... Se me batería el celular. No puedo grabar con... Es la concha de su madre. No puedo prender el cel. No me deja prender el flash acá.
Things knocking over led him to his bathroom, where all sorts of objects were acting out of the ordinary. At the time, Lean was beyond confused, but happy to be capturing it on video, so that social media could help him out. The audience made him aware that it was a spirit that he was dealing with, and there was no other logical explanation to the situation, so he mindlessly followed their verdict, calling an exorcist to come and cleanse the area. The waiting time ended up being over 3 days, which was ridiculous in the eyes of Lean, but if he was asked to wait, then he didn't really have a choice. He was forced to put up with this poltergeist for another 72 hours at a minimum, and one more clip from his house surfaced during this time period.
Acabo de escuchar ruidos que vienen desde acá. Ahí lo acabo de grabar. No sé si lo grabé bien, pero se escuchó claro de acá. Amigos, abrí la caja musical. concha de su madre. Y ese hijo de puta. No puedo prender el flash. No puedo prender. Se prende la casa. Se acaba de poner la caja musical. Ahí pude prender el flash. Se acaba de poner de vuelta la caja musical. Concha de su madre.
This time it happened in a storage extension room towards the side of his house, and things were far worse than the bathroom incident. This is because, as well as regular objects collapsing to the ground and taking an almost self-controlling state, the dancing doll started to spin, and we all know that anything doll-related coming across as haunted is on another level of spooky. It was due to this reason that Lean placed the dancing doll box into the trash and immediately took the bag to the skip, so he would never see it again. The exorcism also turned out to be a success. Lean loved being home alone, and he was not ashamed of the reasons why. Whilst he of course loved his wife to absolute pieces, something about being in the house all by himself was soothing to him, and nobody could change his mind. The lack of sound, the weight off from his shoulders, these were the times that he felt his most peaceful, but of course, spirits are not a fan of peace. In the video that you are about to be exposed to, Lean was relaxing in his bed, whilst no one else was in the household. He was content as ever, and was scrolling Instagram reels, but unfortunately, this peace had to come to an end. Have a watch. Things knocking over led him to his bathroom, where all sorts of objects were acting out of the ordinary. At the time, Lean was beyond confused, but happy to be capturing it on video, so that social media could help him out. The audience made him aware that it was a spirit that he was dealing with, and there was no other logical explanation to the situation, so he mindlessly followed their verdict, calling an exorcist to come and cleanse the area. The waiting time ended up being over 3 days, which was ridiculous in the eyes of Lean, but if he was asked to wait, then he didn't really have a choice. He was forced to put up with this poltergeist for another 72 hours at a minimum, and one more clip from his house surfaced during this time period.
No, qué sensación fea, boludo. Pero sentí escalofrío. Yo sí, calor. No, mira cómo ha quedado, boludo. La concha de su madre. Allá está. ¿Silbido? Yo no me animo a ir allá atrás. Te juro que siento gente, mucha carga energética, pero mucha carga. No ganas hasta de llorar, les juro. ¡Ah, la mierda!
This time it happened in a storage extension room towards the side of his house, and things were far worse than the bathroom incident. This is because, as well as regular objects collapsing to the ground and taking an almost self-controlling state, the dancing doll started to spin, and we all know that anything doll-related coming across as haunted is on another level of spooky. It was due to this reason that Lean placed the dancing doll box into the trash and immediately took the bag to the skip so he would never see it again. The exorcism also turned out to be a success. One of the rarest things that we manage to catch spirits doing is getting physical with their victims, and when this happens, it truly is terrifying. It's enough not being able to see something that is emotionally tormenting you, but when you can't see something that is physically handling you, that is on another level of horrifying. The upcoming clip mixed this horror with the prospect of the haunting happening to a child, which just added to the severity of it all. If you get triggered by children being involved in paranormal activity, then brace yourself. It seemed that the poltergeist gripped the child by the ankles and dragged him towards the door before he had full control again. The way the child glided across the floor made this impossible to stage. And trust me, I like to catch a fake ghost video, so the fact that I believe in this one says a lot. Poor child. When you receive a camera motion detected notification whilst everybody is in bed, it can mean one of two things. Either the cat is up to no good, or something bad is happening and you have to check it instantly. Deciding to presume the latter was the case, the husband of a family decided to open his camera app, and what he saw was shocking. At first, he believed that their daughter was messing with the lights at 12 a.m. and was ready to give her a telling off. But after being convinced by his wife to analyze the footage, he did, and they both found out something bizarre. If you zoom in, you will see a bright-looking face, shortly followed by a pair of legs that step forward and then appear to disappear. After questioning their daughter, she claimed that she was in bed by 12 in the morning and they believed her, considering they usually hear her when she opens her creaky door to leave the room. Chances are she couldn't have snuck out, meaning that this was on a high-odds stake of being a spirit. The Midwest Ghost Hunter is a name that you have probably heard come up on this channel before, if you're a regular, and this is because of how many spiritual clips he has actually been able to obtain. With the sheer amount of haunted places that he visits, he is bound to gather a lot of interesting content, and it was no different in the video that I am going to be showcasing some clips from to you. The place in question was an abandoned sanatorium, and unlike most high-production paranormal channels, he went into this place with absolutely no one. No camera crew, no experts, and most importantly, no friends. How did this go? Well, have a watch.
Hello? Is there anyone up here? I keep hearing strange sounds up here. Who's up here? I'm getting the creeps already. The sounds came from this side. Hello? Ooh, okay, I'm hearing more noises. If that was you, could you make another sound? This is one of the rooms. One of the rooms I was hearing the noises. Are there any patients in here? Whisper somewhere in here. Hello? Who's in here with me? Could you tell me your name?
As you can see, it didn't take long for the ghost hunter to realize this was going to be a successful hunt, and that he certainly wasn't going to go ghostless for this entire journey, which has happened to him before in the past. This clip happened just 4 minutes after he entered the vicinity, which was very abrupt, and bear in mind, the first 4 minutes before this were full of sounds anyways, so the spirit was definitely trying to fulfill its role of scaring the man. Of course, being a professional ghost hunter, though he was nowhere near phased enough to abandon the mission, so continued to go. It was at the point that he started to use real equipment that the real juicy clips started to rise, though.
Oh, come Come on, Ian. Let's go towards him. I'm coming towards you. Whoever or whatever's up here is giving me a creepy vibe. I wonder what would happen if I ran the spirit box right now. I think I'm gonna try it. Who's walking down this hallway? Doctor! It just said doctor! Doctor who? Could you say that one more time? The doorknob. Just grip that doorknob. Holy shit. Something gripped this doorknob. What the heck? I heard that. Did you just grip this doorknob? What the? Oh, shit. I just felt like a force. It like pushed me to the side. I didn't feel anything, but it was like a force. It was like a force like pushing me this way, but I didn't feel anything touching me. That was so freaking bizarre.
After taking out the ghost box, some form of paranormal entity communications device, it said that the spirit in the hallway was a doctor, but this was not the concerning part. Shortly after this statement, it said no visitors, which indicated that the spirits were far from happy in his presence. And unfortunately, he did not hear it, which led to this final incident.
Man, they just keep coming. Oh, God. There's definitely somebody up here with me. What kind of spirit would haunt an attic in an old hospital? Something not good, right? What? Dude! Am I going crazy or did that just move? No fucking way! You see that? It was up against that wall. Those beams. Who moved this box? Thank you, whoever you are. How in the world do you explain that?
None of the clips so far had been physical movements, so it made a drastic change to the hunter when the box moved, because his analysis on the spirit's type would have shifted heavily. This is probably why he appeared to be frightened with such a huge reaction, because I assure you, with his experience, he was far from scared. Brian was a man from Belgium who, before all of the following drama, had no belief or faith towards paranormal activity actually being real. However, like most victims end up doing, he quickly changed his mind. Over the last few days, he has constantly been noticing his window opening and closing by itself, which has reasonably put him on edge. One day, he decided to see if he could capture the phenomenon live, and whilst he failed to do so, he caught something new happening.
There are some weird noises coming from my window. The last few days my window's open by itself. I don't know what's the problem, so... Oh my god. My god. Oh my god, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh shit.
One of the books from the bookshelf slowly moved itself off the shelf until it eventually collapsed to the ground in an almighty thump. Brian was fortunate enough to have caught this on camera, or else nobody would have taken his word for it. I will be surprised if he does not begin the ghost hunting process within a week. One important thing that everybody needs to take into account when their house is under a haunting is to only try to expel the spirit if you are a professional. Attempting to deter a ghost from your house and being underqualified could result in angering the ghost and causing it to become even more of a problem. And this was the case for the male in our next clip, Wire. Over a period of 2 months, Wire and his family had been victims of a haunting, and eventually he decided that he had had enough with the spirit. He was not going to allow it to torment him and his family for any longer, so took it upon himself to banish the poltergeist from the house, and this was what happened.
Oh my god, you guys. So freaking... I just woke up and there's freaking noises going on. Dude, guys, that is really fucking creepy. If there's any spirits in here and you want to communicate with me, I hope you know that you are not allowed in my house. No spirits are allowed in my house.
Immediately after commanding the ghost to leave, the paranormal activity rates spiked, and all kinds of items were launched to the ground. Things get worse when you realize that this was only the spirit's immediate reaction. After this short spike, Wire and his family would notice much higher activity rates than usual in the coming days, meaning that all he had done was frustrate it and cause it to have some sort of outburst. You should learn from Wire's mistakes and always call a ghost hunter or your local church for assistance in these scenarios, rather than take the task up for yourself. On February 26th of 2021, a French man by the name of Antoine was home alone. This was because his wife was working whilst he was left home to take care of their dog. When this happened, things usually went smoothly, as he would casually sit back and enjoy television for the rest of the day. Little did he know that this time around things would not be nearly as relaxed as they should have been. 10 minutes into being home alone, the clip that you are about to see took place, and Antoine claimed that it kept him from staying in the house with his own company for a long time.
Il se passe encore des choses. Putain. Attends, il y avait encore ce truc qui s'allumait. Putain, j'en ai marre. Y'a quelqu'un ici? Oh putain! Qui est là?
First of all, some noises started playing as if somebody else was in the house, and when Antoine went to investigate the scene to find the source, nothing was found. Something did happen though. The supposed spirit pushed the chair to the ground in a sudden shove, and Antoine knew that something was up, but he put it off. Just 2 days later, this would prove to have been the wrong decision though, because on February 28th of 2021, this happened.
Donc bonsoir à tous. Toujours ces phénomènes. Ça se concentre dans la cuisine apparemment, donc je vais essayer de garder mon calme et essayer de communiquer avec l'entité ou je ne sais quoi qui s'y trouve. Il n'y a pas de trucage, hein. Je préfère vous le dire parce qu'il y a beaucoup de sceptiques dans les commentaires. Donc bonsoir, est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un ici? Ok. Merci. Est-ce que vous voulez vous montrer ou parler, s'il vous plaît? Ok. Je sais pas si faudrait parler ce genre d'esprit. Merci en tout cas.
This time, both Antoine and his wife were home, but she was taking a shower. It was while she was doing this regular day-by-day activity that the spirit took its opportunity to strike her husband once again. All kinds of things happened in the kitchen, and once she exited the shower, he showcased the video evidence to her. They are now in the process of banishing the poltergeist, and we advise you to all wish them luck in the comments. Many people argue that fire or the wheel were mankind's most crucial inventions to our development, and whilst this might be true, people need to highlight some more modern inventions. For example, the camera. Cameras are everywhere nowadays and have a wide array of uses, from preventing crime all the way to catching poltergeists in the act. And the very short clip that we are about to watch showcases the latter. In this spine-chilling camera shot, one of the most inexplicable and spooky apparitions happen right in front of a camera, and it is very hard to write this off as anything but a paranormal instance. As you could clearly see, some sort of strange and mysterious head poked around the window of the door, and if you look very closely, it is safe to say it was uncanny. Furthermore, that conference room was completely empty, and that was a guarantee, so no humans were in there. This meant that it was most certainly an apparition, and most employees tend to feel uncomfortable in this office since that moment. However, some of them did not believe the tale, and were even confused as to which room the event occurred in. It was because of this that the employee who set up the camera was forced into the conference room to explain the tale in another video format. Surprisingly for her, though, things did not go as smoothly as she thought they would have.
Okay, so I'm doing the trash. This is the same room that had that face right here. And I was cleaning this bathroom, and I had my phone on this cart. Right? I just heard.
This looked like a normal room, and nothing like it was the aftermath of a haunting apparition. Despite its deceiving looks, though, it definitely packed a scare. The woman heard the word "hello" whispered down her ear and could not take it any longer. After freezing out of terror for a brief moment, she ended the recording and fled the room, never to enter it again with her manager's approval. This is Javier, and Javier lived in a really small room for quite some time, and whilst we don't know the real reason for this, we can predict some reasons why. The main prediction is that since he moved out with his parents, he could not afford a good lifestyle, so outright purchased this place as a placeholder. But who knows? What we do know, though, is that the place is most certainly haunted, and the clip, which is about to be showcased, turns that supposed theory into fact.
Son las 4:17 de la mañana. Están golpeando de nuevo la puerta, la caseta. Que escuchen ustedes de nuevo para que vean que esto no es un juego. Que ahí siempre golpean 10 o 5 minutos y después se detienen. Conche tu madre, se acaba de mover el vaso, se acaba de mover ese lapicero, acaba de hacer un movimiento hacia allá. Bueno, y ahora acaba de escuchar que golpearon atrás mío. Bueno, hay que mantener la calma. Si te pasa algo de esto alguna vez, hay que mantener la calma. Salí acá afuera y miren cómo está. Dieron vuelta la barrera. No sé qué mierda pasó. Escucho un golpe. Escucho ustedes mismos. Ahí estamos, vamos. Vamos a hacer una moto ahí. Bueno, está la ploa ahí, botada ahí. Pero nada más, no sé qué ¿Qué hace los ruidos? No he querido exponerme mucho a este tipo de energías. De hecho, casi no salía ni siquiera al baño acá. Bueno, chicos, se alcanza a ver bien. Temprano un choque fuertísimo. Vengo a ver acá cómo quedó, fíjense. Por esa parte donde está la barrera ahí, pasó un camión a otro lado, no sé si era un fallecido. Pasar algún par de veces una sombra negra, no sé si era hombre o mujer, humano o no humano, pero esto va a ser una sombra negra. Así que bueno, voy a hacer una ronda rápida aquí y voy a sacar unas fotos por aquí a ver si veo algo raro. Alcancé a ver algo, la primera foto se ve como una mancha, en la segunda ya se ve un poco más claro, no sé qué es, pero se ve como una forma rara. No está corriendo nada de viento y se da cada vuelta esta barrera sola. No anda nadie más. Se estaba ahí y saltó acá.
First of all, the small pot of what seemed to be crayons moved by itself, which, as you should be aware of, is not a scenario which should be happening. Furthermore, there was a repetitive knock outside of the room at the exact same time, and when Javier turned around to hopefully see a visitor, he saw nobody. Instead of following the logical solution of calling for assistance and leaving the place, Javier did the unexpected and ventured outside his room in the middle of the night, whilst almost nobody would be passing by in case of emergency. Did this turn out to be as silly of an idea as it was on paper? Well, I will let you answer that one for yourself.
Escucha claramente adentro el sonido, el ladrido. Como pueden ver, aquí no hay nadie. El refri no hay nada dentro del cubo. Miren, salgo de la cocina, cierro la puerta. Escuchen. Y no hay nada, puta madre, nada.
Whenever Javier left the room, he heard banging coming from inside, and whenever he went inside, it came to a halt. It was evident that nothing else was in the room, so this should have been impossible. But when ghosts come into play, nothing is impossible. As well as this, there is a slight crack in the door as he leaves it open, and what looks like an apparition could be seen hiding within it. This was very spooky to say the least, but not spooky enough to force him out of his property. You see, right next to his room was the place where he made all his money, operating a barrier, which I assume defends some form of border. It was while he was on duty in this system that the next strange event took place.
Limpiar la caseta es bastante común. Puede haber sido cualquier persona al que va pasando o qué sé yo. Están golpeando. No esperé nada, 20 minutos. Acaba de caer una niebla, voy a hacer una ronda. Ahora logro 3 de la mañana y se ve como una silueta de un hombre parada allá. Está muy lejos, por eso no se ve tan bien. Voy a dar todo el zoom para que vean ahí. Ya no logro ver al hombre, pero la niebla probablemente lo esté tapando ahí. Bueno, no se movió nada.
This time the banging happened there instead, and some sort of figure could be seen across the road. Hopefully this was just a human standing by and wondering what to do with themselves, but something in the back of my mind tells me that only a spirit would be psycho enough to stand there doing nothing like that. Staying in a hotel is supposed to be a nice and relaxing experience for the guests, but this just is not the case when the place turns out to be haunted. Hotels are surprisingly one of the most commonly haunted places on the planet, and people have no clue as to why. Guests who have to endure these paranormal events are often offered compensation, such as future discounts or a refund. However, nobody thinks about the staff. The following video was captured by a staff member at San Antonio Hotel, and he managed to capture a bizarre event unfolding in a staff-only section. Have a look.
Alright, that's it.
Strangely, the trolley launched itself across the room out of nowhere, and the staff member was standing as perplexed as he ever had been. He usually filmed whilst he was in that area of the hotel, because it was renowned for being one of the worst locations to do work in, and this clip proved that. Using this to his advantage, the staff member who recorded the incident showed it to his colleagues and instigated a pay rise demand for the workers who had to endure life like this. Fortunately, they were given what they deserved. Christmas is one of the happiest times of the year for many people across the globe, with the majority of humans claiming it as the best day of the year. Whilst this is the case for many, though some people tend to dislike the festive season for various different reasons, but none are more justified in doing so than Ahmad. Ahmad's Christmas curse started 3 years ago when he was woken up on Christmas Eve by some loud banging sounds from the kitchen. Ever since that first haunting, Ahmad's Decembers have been riddled with paranormal activity, and the piece of footage that I am about to show you is a moment that Ahmad managed to catch this on camera. He was in his house hearing some loud sounds, so decided to take out his phone in hopes he could catch the ghost in the act, and sure enough, he did.
Et là c'est tôt, il doit être 8h, 8h30. J'entends des bruits en bas, c'est ma copine hein, qui fait du rangement. Et c'est en haut que ça se passe en fait. Je sais pas. Il y a quelqu'un ici? Ok. Est-ce que tu peux refaire bouger le Père Noël? Tu peux faire tomber quelque chose d'autre peut-être? J'ose pas aller là-bas. Il n'y a personne derrière moi. Hein. Je tiens à dire, je suis tout seul là.
The spirit oddly decided to push over the Christmas decoration of Santa Claus, which was a strange decision to say the least. As well as this, it created several banging sounds, but at this point Ahmad was used to it. The main source of his confusion was the fact that the Santa decoration was the thing that was interfered with. Could this have been a message to Ahmad? Or was it simply the first thing the ghost sought its eyes on? Let me know what you think of the situation in the comments. On June 17th of 2021, an iconic paranormal investigation took place. It was conducted by Yama, an Asian college student who believed he had been haunted for half a year, but was too frightened to inform his parents of the situation, due to them finding him psychopathic, which is common in these videos of ours. However, one day Yama thought it would be a smart idea to set up cameras all around his house in order to catch this spirit in the act. And sure enough, he caught what he wanted to. All sorts of hauntings went on here, and it is safe to say that the ghost had a fairly active night. If you were to create a paranormal activity graph for this house, this sequence would break the charts because so much went on throughout such a short time span. After the event, Yama sent the footage to his parents and uploaded it to social media, where it would smash 800,000 views and finally get him the help he deserves. He was able to visit several priests and get in touch with the best ghost hunters, all down to the belief of the people, and if he hadn't have caught this, then who knows where he would be now. Chloe and Sharon were two employees of a local business, but there was a special twist to their place of work. The people who called it their place of employment all also deemed it as the most haunted building in the entirety of Wales, and you are about to see why firsthand. The lore of this building is actually unknown, but the owners of the business purchased it 15 years ago, meaning the hauntings must have started fairly recently, considering they reported no problems when first operating there. The poltergeist activity in this building has led to several raises being handed out to employees and constant rehiring due to people quitting the job, so the owners do plan on moving out soon, but not soon enough to stop this happening.
Chloe, you're gonna have to go and have a look, honestly. Please.
Don't fucking go there.
Well, I am.
I'm here.
No, we're the only ones here.
Hello? Hello?
Oh! No! Oh my, Chloe, go in, Chloe. Go in.
There's actually no one in here.
No, wait. I'll have a look at the bar now. What the hell?
After some peer pressure from Sharon, Chloe approached the banging, and to her dismay, no source was found. They both went to the owners of the business, who said that unfortunately, they could not do anything about it, and that they were trying their absolute hardest to relocate the facility. This led to Sharon quitting her job, and Chloe demanding a pay rise, to which she was granted a very small one. Who knew that doing something as simple as purchasing a guitar from a garage sale could be the reason you have to put up with a spirit for a few weeks? Well, to the misfortune of a man called Seth, a TikToker to be exact, this is exactly what happened to him. He does a pretty good job at explaining the situation at the start of the clip, so I am going to let him do his thing, but I must say it was very crazy towards the end.
I've never had an issue with ghosts or any weird, unexplainable stuff in my house, but I bought a guitar the other week at a garage sale from this old lady down the street, and every time I pick it up or strum it or play it, really weird shit happens, and I'll show you. That is some Lotus, like, very 80s looking guitar, and every time I strum, like that, shit like that happens every time I mess with this thing. Shit like that.
For some inexplicable reason, the guitar managed to cause all sorts of havoc whenever Seth played it. This was obviously a major problem, because the whole point of purchasing a guitar is, of course, to play it, so the fact he could not do this was frustrating. The most logical answer to the whole situation was that the person selling the guitar in the garage sale knew of its haunting and wanted to sell it so that they could get it off their back. Seth dumped the guitar outside of their house the next day, and they probably weren't annoyed at all because they could sell it onto a new victim and still keep Seth's hard-earned cash. Everybody knows that if something paranormal is going to go down, then there is only 1 hour it will do so, 3 a.m. You've all seen the videos. Almost every single ghostly event happens at this hour, so much that it has been deemed as the witching hour by most. If people could bet money on an hour for ghosts to appear, it would be 3 a.m. You get the point. Anyways, it was this time when a poor mother and father received a notification from Ring, a camera company that they were specifically using to monitor their baby. Expecting it to be the baby crying, the duo opened their phones to find something horrible. First of all, the baby's toy started playing randomly, and that isn't as scary until you understand that it had no batteries. The parents always took the batteries out of the toys that had them in fear that their child could choke, and whilst responsible, it did cause a fright here. Furthermore, some sort of being must have rocked the crib because they cannot do that on their own accord. On a whole, this video was very spooky, especially considering the fact that whatever was behind it decided to make its victim a baby. Kaye has been on several past videos for this channel, and it is safe to say her story is a long one. However, before I play the next clip in her saga, I will briefly summarize what has happened to the poor woman. Roughly 1.5 years ago, she made the decision to purchase a new house. This was meant to be a wholesome move for her family so that they could all experience a fresh start and life elsewhere. However, it did not take long at all for them to realize it was haunted. All sorts of creepy stuff started going down, and it was only a matter of time before Kaye started to capture things on camera. In the last video, we showcased a couple of the things that she managed to get on tape, and this one is going to be no different.
reason why I came up here is because I
need to grab it to charge. Chain check. Just gonna fucking... Oh, Jesus. I'm freaking myself out. I'm literally scared to open this door right now. Did you guys see how that door like shut fast the first time when I went to open it? At least the door is still open. Everything's fine.
The door continued to open and close, and in case you are new to the channel, then I will let you know that the room behind the door was undoubtedly the most haunted part of the house. This is why Kaye seemed so collected during such a dire situation, but trust me, she was panicking deep down, especially once it happened again. This situation is horrible for Kaye, and all we can do is leave her in our prayers. Aisha and her cat had been paired together for years leading up to this moment, and their bond was unbreakable. The cat was first with her when she was just 14 because her parents decided to buy the pet. When Aisha grew older, they decided to let her keep it and bring it to her first rented home because she basically did all of the catering anyways. One night, when Aisha and the cat were sitting in the dining room little together, did she know that the pet would not be the highlight of the show here, to her cat collection. Little did she know that the pet would not be the highlight of the show here.
You look so tired. I know you're tired.
Strangely, the chair came out at Aisha, and she was obviously pretty freaked out by this. She had never tampered with any form of paranormal entity or location, so it made zero sense as to why the spirit had chosen her for the haunting. This is one of many questions that will likely never have an answer. Now, despite humans being so out of touch with the paranormal world, there have been several inventions that supposedly allow us to communicate with entities. Some of these methods are very controversial and up for debate as to whether they are legit or not. However, the Ouija board is one that continuously provides things far from the norm. Unlike other methods where clips just show the board changing letters, Ouija boards often contain clips where haunted things happen. That was no different in the next video. It was filmed in the kitchen where some girls were messing about at a sleepover. It is safe to say that they were messing around in places far out of their depths though. Have a watch.
Okej, nå har vi begynt. Har du begynt? Hva skal vi begynne med? Hva skal vi si først? Hei? Vet du, jeg tør ikke å stå, jeg må sette meg. Jeg skal liksom si god dag eller hei. Julie, skal man si hei først? Og så har jeg lyst. Ja, jeg tror dere må liksom invitere den da, på en måte.
Ja, vi må si hei da, hilse.
Ok. Stav, hei.
Ja. Hei. Det går ikke da. Det var det mye.
Fy faen, ass.
Du sa jo at det skulle være kul.
Ta ned på god dagen. Det
Det er ikke vits i, det går ikke.
Shit.
Kødder du nå?
Ok, vet du hva? Nå kan jeg få gå hjem, eller?
Du kan ikke gå hjem.
Nei, jeg tør ikke å gå hjem. Jeg tør ikke å gå hjem.
Eller det fletsa seg.
Ta det bort, da.
Ta det bort, sånn feil. Jeg tør ikke å ha det her nå. Det var sykt.
Ja, men dere, nå faen, nå er jo ånden her, da. Nå må dere...
Ja, velkommen etter av banen.
Tenk hvis han kommer og tar meg, da. Fy for jeg sitter alene. Faen, og så sitter vi i vinduet også.
Hallo, hva skal vi si nå? Jeg fortsetter ikke nå. Jo, kom igjen da. Jeg fortsetter, jeg var kjempegøy.
Kan dere følge meg hjem, eller?
Det er sant. Ja. Kan du... Hallo.
Jeg skulle aldri vært med på dette, vet du.
Herregud, det var sykt. Hva sammen skal vi ta med? Vi må vite om det er damer eller mann, da.
Det kommer seriøst sånne lysglimt foran skjermen, altså. Det er dritkult.
Hallo, ja. Du har aldri vært med på det her før? Eller jeg har vært med på den, liksom ikke sånn.
Nå trodde jeg døra åpnet seg.
Det var sykt. Herregud, skal vi fortsette nå, synes jeg? Hva skal vi ta med? Det er noe med deg. Kom igjen, da. Hallo, vi må fortsette. Ok. Vi tar vi oss et tegn, da. Skal vi finne sammen? Ok. 1, 2, 3. Gi oss et tegn.
Det dingler.
Fy faen.
Helvete, hele den driten dingler jo.
Vi tar det til da.
Sjekka.
Gi oss et tegn.
Surprisingly, the Ouija board failed to connect to the spirits, and the girls were all rather disappointed with the turnout. Of course, they didn't expect it to work, but nonetheless, it would have been cool if it did so. What happened instead was simply terrifying. The girl on the far side of the table had her drink slide on its own accord, and everybody there understandably screamed. Perhaps the Ouija board summoned a ghost after all. On June the 6th of 2021, Chris and Julia were both in their bedroom watching television. It was just 10 p.m. and their favorite show had just released a new series, so they needed to get it started before they could get any rest. Little did they know that this watching session would include a massive interruption. The episode was about 30% complete, and the couple were loving it. They were so invested that they didn't even bring themselves to have any sort of toilet or food break. They substituted these periods with a ghost break. Julia was way too scared to investigate what caused the bang, so she sent the man of the house, Chris, to take a look. The result of his search was unfortunate because he found nothing except some cans on the floor. After reviewing the camera footage, they knew for a fact that this was an unnatural cause, so got in touch with their local priest. Like this video and comment part 2 for a chance for me to include it in a haunter video sometime in the future. It's not often that a spirit manages to physically affect a person, but in the upcoming video, this one in a billion phenomenon came to life. Meet Taylor, a 30-year-old electrician who takes no interest in either religion or the general paranormal world. He was convinced that nothing could change his mind on these views, and he was more than entitled to that opinion. However, one day something happened which managed to do the trick. It took place in January of 2025, and it is important to note that Taylor had never experienced anything like this before, so it was a new occurrence.
My front camera is smashed, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now. I always say it's not haunted because the house is a little old. But it legit sounds like there's somebody upstairs. I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care. Who's up there? Oh my God, they're like at the top of the stairs. Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
Unlike most times where the ghost mentally torments a person, this ghost barged past Taylor on the way past Taylor, causing him to collapse. Taylor was adamant that nobody who knew him who had passed would haunt him, so he was extraordinarily baffled by this situation. What makes things even weirder is that he has not experienced anything like it since either. The following video was captured by a man called Mike, and it was not a first-time ghostly experience for him. In fact, Mike has dealt with countless instances involving a ghost because he purchased his house fully aware that it was haunted due to the extremely cheap cost that he refused to turn down. He was in the process of banishing the spirits from it in order to increase the value, working alongside his local church as well as many freelance ghost hunters. Of course, during this process, the hauntings were still going on though, and Mike managed to film this.
No nie wiem, przed chwilą cały czas coś się znowu dzieje. Boże. O Boże. A teraz wiecie co jest kurwa najgorsze? Że wczoraj kiedy kot tak długo wpatrywał się w tą lampę, postanowiłem, że odłączyłem od prądu. Gdzie jest ten kabel cholerny? Lampa jest odłączona. Patrzcie. No. A tutaj jest właśnie ten mój kolega. Masakra.
Now at first, Mike believed this was an electrical issue, but due to his situation, he decided to show the footage to some ghost experts. They all claimed that this was a spiritual act, and the lamp never flickered again from this point, so it did make a lot of sense. In a recent video on the channel, we took a peek into the life of a mother of 3 who was struggling heavily with paranormal activity. In that video, all sorts of weird events were featured, such as flickering lights, heavy breathing, talking, and other events of the sort. But fortunately, it was made clear that this was a one-time occurrence. Well, at least it was at that point. In between then and now, the family have experienced a lot more, and the next piece of footage showcases a time when all of it was caught on camera again. Watch it for yourself. Instead of doing anything visible with the eye, this time the spirit was rather audible and was trying to torment the mother. It knew that she wanted undeniable proof of its existence on camera, so decided to stay out of sight. It was a smart strategy and a cruel one. The mother could hear heavy breathing no matter where she visited in the house, and at one point even heard a little girl talking. This was a surreal experience, and make sure to subscribe, because if anything else happens to this family, then you will be the first to hear about it. Ghost hunting, a profession only taken up by the bravest of people, or the stupidest of people. It depends how you want to look at it. This profession involves being paid by clients to visit their property and search for entities, and it comes under two tasks. They either search for spirits or eliminate spirits. The man in the video here was attempting to search for one and find proof of its existence for the owner.
Me acaban de golpear, tengo una pared que da allá al patio, allá atrás, la puerta es ahí. Yo ahí tengo la computadora y en la pared me acaban de golpear. Yo no sé si fue algo que cayó, puede haber sido un gato o no sé. Fue bastante pesado el golpe. Siempre hay un montón de gatos por acá, ¿eh? En el barrio. No sé por qué la gente deja los gatos sueltos, digamos. Son gatos de personas, o sea, son gatos de familias. Pero dejan sueltos. ¡Ey, ey, 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 ey! ¿Qué es eso? ¿Lo escucharon? ¿De dónde vino? Uy, me estoy re asustando. No. Ok, si hay algo acá que se retire de mi casa. Puta madre.
As you could see, Fuego, the ghost hunter, clearly found enough evidence of a paranormal entity for his client and cashed out large. With the amount of money Fuego makes, it doesn't look like he's going to quit ghost hunting anytime soon. The following video was uploaded to YouTube roughly 7 years ago by a young boy living with his parents like all children do. This meant that he did not make his own rules and unfortunately had a curfew at 10 p.m. and abided by it. It was one night at exactly 10 p.m. that some strange stuff began to happen though. Before I show you the clip, there is a bit of backstory behind it. The doll was a purchase of the boy from a local garage sale, and there was not much left once he arrived. He wasn't interested in anything at the sale initially, but he felt sorry for the woman hosting the sale, who was clearly in a poorer position, so bought the doll for a cheap price. This turned out to be the worst decision of the boy's life. Have a watch.
Alright, YouTube. I was just sitting down, getting ready to go to bed, and the fucking music box up there just starts playing. Sorry, I'm a little sick. I was trying to rest, but, you know, after putting this fucking doll back on the shelf, that hand decided to fucking move, and I put that there just to, you know, maybe these two things talk to each other? But no, the old lady that this belonged to, it belonged to her, actually belonged to her mother, and she said that she calls it squeaky because at night you could hear the doll squeak, which I did hear it squeak. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit, did you guys see that? My hands are shaking. Sorry, let me switch to the other hand. Holy shit, the hand just moved. This thing at night squeaks, and when I put it inside that chest, so I thought, you know, maybe I'll give it a second chance and, you know, put it back on the shelf. But clearly the thing wants to start the music box back up. Because, you know, that's a great idea, you know, just to stick it back on a shelf next to a creepy box and stick it next to a doll head. So, you know, That's a good job for me. I'm actually probably going to lock this thing back up. Its hand fucking moved out more, dude. Screw that shit. You could stay up on the shelf because you're not gonna fucking turn on a music box like this motherfucker in my fucking hand did. I'm getting the key to open up this chest because fuck that shit. You squeaky, you could stay inside this chest. I don't want to hear you squeak. I don't want to hear you making noise.
The first red flag was that the owner used to call it squeaky because it tended to make squeaking sounds, and the fact that the boy knew this information before purchasing the doll makes him really silly and accountable for his situation. Whilst he was going to bed, the music box besides the doll started to play, and this of course prevented him from getting any rest, so he stood up to film the incident. As he was recording, the hand of the doll moved on camera, which was highly shocking and caught both him and us off guard. Finally, the head fell from the top of the cabinet, which was not having any visible force act on it, making this whole series of events odd. After the recording ended, the dolls were all locked in some chest-looking drawer, before we never received any other updates. We should be hoping that the person who experienced all of that is now safe and sound. Nothing beats the feeling of coming home from a long day of work to kick back and get on your gaming console with the boys. Whether it be a PlayStation or an Xbox, this is a feeling that many people across the world can relate to, including the man in our next clip. He was working a really late shift and could not wait until he was allowed to go home and play on his PlayStation 5. His job was in a fast food chain, so it was very unenjoyable, and the moment he arrived home, he pushed the power button. Strangely though, after doing this, he felt some sort of cold air brush past him, and from that point forwards, he felt really unsafe. Out of panic, he took out his phone and opened the camera app before hitting record, and you are about to see what he was able to capture.
There to go. And I come back and something is say something, I'm giving up on you. But anywhere I would have followed you. That's my kid, dude. Don't. You're not fucking serious. You're not fucking serious. I mean, it's nothing. Actually, how the fuck am I gonna get that back up? Goddamn. Jesus Christ.
For some reason, as soon as he started to record his surroundings, in case something bad happened to him, something horrible occurred. One of the pictures on his wall began to move without any human interaction, and this was not just any picture. It was one of his children. The fact that the spirit chose to tamper with that image must have had some sort of deeper meaning behind it, and the man couldn't help but think that they were in danger. He called his mother, who was looking after them due to his late shift, but no response came back. The chances are that she was just asleep and everything was okay, but due to a lack of future updates, we have no idea whether anything bad happened. On June the 9th of 2024, an unexplainable video was uploaded to TikTok that would disturb thousands of viewers. It took place in an Asian household where a man who was given the feminine nickname Fran lived alone. There were many perks to living alone, such as peace and quiet at will, but also many negatives, with no aid in emergencies being one of the main ones. I am not sure whether the video that you are about to watch would be considered as an emergency, but it was definitely enough to put poor Fran into a state of fear. The time was 12:23 p.m., and it had just turned afternoon when a seemingly normal day turned into one that nobody could even dream of.
Ya estás intentando molestar, ¿no? ¿Te puedes manifestar? Si quieres. No te tengo ningún miedo. Sí, ya sé que estás ahí. Manifiéstate. Cojones. Manifiéstate. ¿Dónde estás? La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Me cubro con la sangre de Cristo. Vale, que sepas que no te tengo ningún miedo. Vale. Vale. Me cubro con la sangre de Cristo. Cristo tiene el poder. Ven, este es mi día a día, señores. En mi casa, esto es lo que pasa. Pero ya cada vez tengo menos miedo, así que me come todo el cipote lo que haya aquí. Esta es mi casa.
Just as you would expect the chair to stop moving, it continued, and this was an unexplainable phenomenon. It was clear that no one or nothing was applying any force to the chair, so the force must have been an invisible one, and we all know what that means on this channel. Fran was experiencing a haunting, and if he doesn't do anything about it, he will likely have to go through this for much longer. Ghost hunting is an extremely dangerous job that comes with many risks, but with high risk comes high reward. The job pays a lot of money, which is why we see so many people partaking. But at the end of it all, is it really worth it? Meet the Midwest Ghost Hunter, an experienced and high-end hunter who every client would dream of having. The following series of clips comes from one of his hunts in a house known as the Boyd House, which is undoubtedly haunted. Have a watch.
Hello? Is anybody here? I don't know if you remember me, but I visited here before. Not too long ago. If you remember me, could you give me a sign? Minnie or Fred Eckhart? Are you here? I'm in your lovely home. Are you okay with me visiting? If you can hear me, could you make a sound somewhere in this house? It's awfully quiet in here to start. I'm not really feeling any. What the hell was that? Hello? Oh my god, that sounded like a woman's voice. I heard it through the headphones. It sounded like it was coming from in there. Minnie, was that you? Could you speak again?
The Midwest Ghost Hunter was purposefully attempting to get some form of reaction from the spirits who haunted this house, and due to his expertise, he managed to get one. After asking any entities in the building to make a noise, there was silence for a brief moment before the voice of a woman echoed down his headphones. The woman behind this voice was more than likely the one who passed away in the home and made it haunted in the first place. Just to be certain, though, the ghost hunter needed to continue this exploration.
If there's anyone in here, could you show yourself to me? Minnie, are you still in here? Could you appear by that radio? that you turned on earlier? Weird. I got like an orb like right next to it. It's gone. That was interesting. Could you appear by the radio? Damn, I still can't get over that from earlier. That radio turning on. That was so insane. Is there anybody upstairs? Oh, I thought I heard a creak up there. Hello? Whoa, what the fuck? Dude, I just saw a fucking shadow. Holy shit. It was right up here. Hello? There was somebody standing like right there. Who's up here? I just saw somebody here. There was literally a dark mass standing at the top of these steps. I saw it in the flash of the camera. I'm gonna look and see if I can find it. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Dude, it's right there. It's like a shadow. I caught that in the photo. I managed to capture this photo of a dark humanoid mass standing at the top of the staircase. Notice how the figure is transparent and possesses non-physical qualities. Was this the spirit of Fred Eckhart staring me down from above?
Besides claiming that the radio managed to turn itself on, this video had undeniable proof that someone or something was in the house alongside the man. Whilst he was taking photos of almost everything he could, he caught a human outline in shadow form at the top of the stairs and decided to check the camera gallery to be sure that he was not hallucinating or anything of the sort. That shadow was in fact real and enough to instill fear into anybody. If it was able to frighten the Midwest ghost hunter, it would have frightened you for sure. Emily and her dog Rosie were both home alone, waiting for the man of the house to arrive, when a very peculiar event happened. The time was 10 p.m., and this was usually an uneventful period for Emily, who had normally finished her work for the day and spent the time relaxing. This time around, things would be far different though, and it would all be centered around her little dog, Rosie. They were both listening to music and doing nothing at all when this disturbing video was captured on camera.
What the f***?
Some sort of shadow reached out for the dog, and if you look closely enough, it seemed to be the paw of a cat. The annoying thing about paranormal events like this, though, is that you can never be too sure that it actually was a ghost. So Emily and her family could not seek assistance due to a lack of liable proof. But if something else happens in their household, I will include it in one of my videos, so subscribe. The following video was another ghost hunting expedition which was carried out by two British men this time around. They were visiting a house without much research behind it, and the only link to the paranormal was a note that the old owners left claiming that it was haunted, but it was definitely worth a shot for some content. The duo set up some cameras all across the household to be sure that they did not miss anything, and this plan definitely worked because once they left a room, this happened.
We need to just get on with an investigation. Should we get some equipment?
Yeah.
I'm going to stand in here, just in case.
Yeah, good idea.
Shall I leave my camera in here for a bit? No. Did you not hear that then? That was in there again, the camera's in there. No. Did you not hear that then? That was in there again, the camera's in there. I don't know why I said no, like...
Okay.
Like you're a dog or something. Oh, just stop. Stop. Hello? There's someone walking towards me. I swear to God.
What the fuck?
Stop. Seriously. I don't know if I can just hear like the remnants of of me walking through now, but
yeah,
almost clear as day. Like not even heavy. I'm gonna leave my cat roll. What? Let's get. Jesus Christ! I feel mental, and you.
Do you know what? It's gone so mental that I don't even feel like we've got the right equipment to pick this up. What do I use?
I don't know. Should we rethink?
The man wearing a cap heard something drop to the floor from the other room, and fortunately, the camera also picked up this sound. He decided to double back and investigate what could have caused the sound, and he swore that some footsteps were heading in his direction. The camera did not manage to pick up these steps, but based on the reaction from the man, it is safe to say the story is believable. Bruno and his wife Soraya were both at home getting ready to enjoy a nice evening together. It was rare that they managed to get peace and quiet all night because they were the parents of 3 children. But fortunately, they were all at a camp with their local scouting group, so Bruno and Soraya could enjoy themselves without any responsibilities. Soraya was sitting at the dining table flipping her son's toy skateboard, waiting for Bruno to choose a movie to watch. This always took a long time because he was so ridiculously indecisive, but before he could come to a decision, this happened.
Se movió la silla.
¿Leal?
Sí.
De las cores.
Tipo, es de arquiteta.
De las cores.
Soraya was clearly freaked out by all of this sudden activity and shouted to Bruno for help. She half expected him to have more of an idea as to what to do next, but he was just as clueless in this situation. We can only hope that they acted sensibly from here, because we have no more intel on the situation. If I could give you one singular piece of advice to take with you into a paranormal situation, it would be to not tell a spirit what to do, because this can cause all sorts of havoc. Just like humans, spirits take being commanded around as some sort of disrespectful and objectifying way to treat someone, so they typically get worse when given orders. The man that captured the following video most certainly did not have this knowledge with him, because he took it upon himself to encourage his haunter to push a can. Have a watch.
Guys, last night I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard some pounding. I think there might be a ghost in my house. I have a can set up right there. Hang on. Right there's a can. And I'm gonna see if I can get this spirit to knock the can down. So, here goes nothing, I guess. Remember, there's a can sitting right there. If there is a spirit here with me, I've put a can on top of my stand. Can you please knock the can down? Oh my God. What the fuck, guys? Oh my God. fucking shaking. There's the can. It was sitting right there. Like and subscribe for more.
Now the ghost did end up following this order, but based on future updates, the hauntings became much worse after this incident. The man who filmed the video is currently in the process of moving out from the house due to the sheer amount of activity, and who knows what he will do next. Experiencing paranormal activity is definitely rare, but experiencing a sequence of activity is far more impressive. Sometimes ghosts must have way too much anger inside of them because they do multiple things during one haunting sequence. Fortunately, our next victim, called Zachary, managed to capture his haunting sequence in 4K, and it actually took place within the premise of his work. He worked in a factory, and at the time of the incident, he was down in the storage room doing some tasks. Luckily, he was filming a video for his friend to showcase how boring his job was, and if it wasn't for that, then we would not have received this fascinating piece of footage. All sorts of crazy stuff happened down there, and Zachary was utterly mesmerized by what was going on. After ending the recording, he took no hesitation in evacuating the scene and informing his boss of the situation. The boss watched the footage and believed Zachary, but would not be able to do anything about it. Nothing awful has happened in that room since, but the memories still haunt Zachary every time he is forced to venture the area. Kira was an innocent woman who had never wronged anyone in her life, at least not to an extent that would have warranted a haunting. This is why she and everybody who knew her were so confused about her recent stories involving objects moving on their own, voices from right beside her, and tons of electricity problems. The stories were so unbelievable that her eldest son actually ended up booking some therapy for her out of pure worry, which was rather sweet. However, all sweetness was taken away when you realize she was not crazy all along. 2 days before her therapeutic appointment, Kira found motivation to prove she was not going insane because she didn't want her relatives to waste all of their money attempting to diagnose her. This is the context of the video of which I am about to show you, where she is clearly trying to catch the spirit red-handed.
Twice it has moved. I literally thought I heard something then. If there's anybody in here who can move the ornament under the TV stand, can you give it a little push for me? Or can you pull it, or can you pull it back? Just give it a little pull for me if you can just touch it. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck? That is like, there's nothing on it. There's nothing on it at all.
After being politely asked to do so, as you should ask a spirit, it decided to move the ornament without causing any damage to it. And inside her head, Kira was having a party. She spoke to her sister and asked how to send the video to everyone, and she got help doing so. The fact that she knew little about technology led to everybody believing the video could not have been edited, and she was believed at last, with the priest coming out to offer her help in the coming months. On June the 25th of 2024, Beto was simply trying to have a shower when everything turned against him. The time was 10 p.m., so a regular time for an evening shower. He had allowed his son to have a shower first because he had school in the morning, and it was finally his turn after waiting, but the relieving shower was clearly not meant to be, because immediately after entering the room, something happened that warranted Beto to take out his phone. It is important to note that no items, or the house itself, have had any paranormal past recorded, and this was a first-time event.
No seas mamón.
This terrified Beto, but he made sure to film it for long enough so that it was undeniably real. He knew the power of social media, so uploaded it to TikTok, hoping he was going to be the next big thing. Whilst he failed to become the next big thing, he did end up with 12,000 likes, which he was fairly happy about, but was worth a haunting? Probably not. The worst paranormal experiences are always the ones that end up including children because you know that they will have done nothing worthy of a punishment at a magnitude of a haunting. They can barely grasp the concept of the real world, let alone the concept of the underworld, so you always have to feel bad. Well, in this clip, the family of 3 have a baby included, and an evil spirit refuses to let it get any rest. Take a look.
Vente. Le están tocando.
Sí. La niña empezó a llorar.
Ya no haga mucho ruido para ver quién es. No prendas. ¿Cómo rápido? Está bien inquieta, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Ya son casi las 3 de la mañana. ¿Dónde están las llaves? Hoy. Ahí quédate, espérame. No hay nadie. No hay nadie. No, uy, otra vez. ¿Quién será? Ya es nadie, Ceci. Yo creo que ya nos subimos a dormir. Ya. Vámonos. Vámonos porque igual le voy a enseñar la hora. Siempre pasa lo mismo. Miren. Son casi las 3 de la mañana. 25. Siempre hace lo mismo, ¿verdad? Ya vamos a... Voy a cerrar otra vez.
The loud banging really upset the baby, because for one, it will have had sensitive ears, and for two, at a time such as 20 to 3 at night, it should have been fast asleep. What made things strange was that the father, Amro, continued to open the curtains covering the window where the banging was coming from, and whenever he did, it stopped. Now, obviously, the house being haunted was a huge issue for the family. It's hard to skip past the fact that an entity of which nobody can see is taking your place as residents, let alone not letting you sleep. Things became much worse, however, when the father recorded this next clip, where he discovered that his car was also under the same effect.
Hijo de... ¿Viste? Ya, mamá, ya. Por la llave a la troca. ¿Ya vieron? Las 3. Las 3. Las 3. Siempre a la misma hora. Perdón, estoy algo nervioso. Sí, checa aquí. ¡Uy, cabrón! A ver, gente, esta camioneta está descompuesta. La tengo hasta enlonada, o sea, ya sé que no van a querer muchos, pero es lo que hay. Tengo que quitarle todo esto porque, uy, clarito, vi algo allá adentro, Oh, pasó algo volando. La niña está alterada. Lo siento, no podía dejar la camioneta así. Uy, cabrón, me asusta esta cosa, güey. Esta camioneta realmente no sirve. O sea, sí sirve, pero vean, o sea, está desmantelada. Hace mucho frío aquí. Vean, tiene tiempo que no se usa, o sea, está toda polveada. Y vean si gira. Estaba apagada. Y aquí está la llave. Tiene tiempo que no la ocupamos. Ya. Me dice mi esposa. Está muy peligrosa esta zona, gente. Yo me voy a meter. Yo sé que muchos me dijeron que no tenía que abrir, pero ya no ve. Tienen que checar el video porque para mí que no estaba en su lugar. Espérame, voy a amarrar. Me voy a meter, gente. Pues diario voy a documentar. Diario y pues bueno. Ya me voy a dormir.
Despite the car not even being turned on and the windscreen wipers being completely shut off, they started wiping the car, which meant that some form of exterior force was forcing this to happen. Whether this force was a spirit or not, we have no idea, But considering that the knocking happened at the same hour, it makes a lot of sense. But if that still failed to convince you that it was a spirit that this family was being forced to handle, watch this final video.
Johnny. 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 Johnny, están tocando.
¿Ah?
Están tocando.
¿Quién es?
Nadie, duérmete, mamá.
¿Están tocando?
Sí.
Ah, sí, no manches.
Escucha.
Otra vez, güey, a ver. Dame.
Sí.
A ver, aguanta. Espérame aquí, aguántame. No manches. Otra vez no. Son las 3 de la mañana, gente. Son casi las 3 de la mañana. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Qué es lo que quieres? Deja de molestar. Quiero que te largues. ¿Qué es eso? Oh, no manches. Oh, no manches. ¡Ceci! ¡Ceci!
This time, a visible apparition could be seen of the spirit, and it looked like some sort of ghostly skull, which is not what you would imagine a ghost to look like. Furthermore, at the end of the video, the father's tears were flattening live without any real reason to do so, which surely would have been a spiritual cause. Funerals are when you manage to capture people at their lowest points, and this is because these events are very depressing. Losing a loved one is mentally scarring for everybody, and hence why nobody is in a good mood at these events, but at least the majority are not haunted. The only thing that is worse than a funeral is a haunted one, and the attendees of the funeral that this clip came from would agree with this. Have a watch. The white balloon started to drift towards the wife of the man who died, and she almost sensed that it was her husband doing this. While the majority of the people at the funeral were given the creeps by this incident, she held the balloon close, knowing that it was likely her husband of 20 years, saying his final goodbyes. This would be why she broke down into even more tears. The following video took place very early in the morning at a convenience store that had absolutely no business being haunted. It was a super irrelevant store, and no form of spiritual events had ever been recorded there, making it the last place a gambler would put their money on being haunted. However, despite the odds being low, they were not at zero, and one day, while 2 members of staff were preparing to open the store for the day, they experienced this.
Nos encontramos aquí en mi trabajo. Al fondo se observa una cámara de refrigeración donde parte de la tarde se han estado abriendo y cerrando solitas las puertas. Hay momentos que se calma, pero de repente empiezan otra vez a abrirse y cerrarse. Me voy a mover para allá para ver de cerca a ver si qué pasa. Nos vamos acercando a la cámara. Jorgito es uno de mis compañeros de aquí de trabajo. ¿Qué pasó, hijo? ¿Qué se cayó? Vean. Vean, ahí ya empezaron a abrir también. Vean, observen. Híjole. Vamos a tratar de no acercarnos, Jorgito, porque... Vean cómo se están abriendo las puertas. Vamos a ver de aquel lado. Ahí se ve cómo se están abriendo y cerrando. Toda la tarde estaba pasando esto, e inclusive ya hay gente que se dio cuenta, clientes. Y híjole, la verdad sí es un poco temeroso. Ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que, vean, ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que viniera a ver esto que está pasando. No me cree, pero digo, quedó de venir, hasta ahorita no ha venido. Y no nos hemos atrevido a ir a la parte de atrás en la cámara porque pues nos da un poco de temor, ¿no? Porque pues esto es algo sobrenatural. Pero vamos, Jorgito, allá atrás a ver qué pasa. Vean. Vamos a ver qué pasa. Vamos a arriesgarnos a ir. Vamos a arriesgarnos porque a ver qué pasa. Esta es la parte de la entrada de la cámara. Vamos a ver qué pasa. O sea, ahora sí que... Ay, dijo, no sé si oyeron. Jorgito, ve a ver, hijo. Mira. ¿Sí? Veamos qué pasa.
Strangely, the refrigerator doors continued to open and close themselves whilst they were being filmed, and it was almost as if they had a mind of their own. The 2 members of staff were freaked out by this for obvious reasons and immediately alerted their manager over text message. Unfortunately, their manager did not take this quote, excuse, and demanded that they continue working for the day or they would be fired from the job. Was the boss in the wrong? Let me know in the comments. Alonso was a well-known ghost hunter within his community, and almost everybody came to him when they had a problem regarding the spiritual world. With his strong portfolio and muscular build, nobody could say no to him and his services. But one day, a mission got a little bit too difficult for his liking. It took place on a Sunday, and he was being paid extremely high money to work this day. It was immediately after entering the supposedly haunted vicinity that he caught this phenomenon on camera.
Victoriano, saludos. Carolina. ¡Ay, no madre! ¡Uy, qué fue eso! Perdón, amigos, grité como mujer. Grité como mujer. ¿Hay alguien ahí? Buenas noches. Grité como mujer, amigos. Buenas noches. ¿Quién eres? ¿Hay alguien? ¿Hay alguien ahí? Buenas noches. ¿Qué fue eso? Uy, 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 uy. No mames, no hay nadie. ¿Hay alguien? ¿Hay alguien? No hay nadie aquí. Se me desenfocó.
It was very clear that some sort of spirit was behind the door, and anybody in their right minds would agree with me on that statement. This was the first telltale sign that what Alonso was dealing with was in fact a real threat, and he should approach the rest of the task with caution. Subscribe to the channel, as this was only one clip from a long mission made by Alonso, and his story will be further developed in our next video. Similar to another clip in this video, our next video was captured by somebody working in a store, except this time it was the manager who experienced the event. The time was 10 at night, and he had come to the store to make sure that the cleaning staff had done their job on his weekly checkup that came on a random day to attempt to catch them out if they were slacking. The cleaners did a decent job, but there were some critiques that the manager managed to pick out, and he was about to call his staff members and explain it to them. Little did he know that he was not going to be able to do that.
Ya. ¿Qué hora es? Van a ser 10 para las 2. Y algo me tiene intrigado. Iremos a grabar. Carrito me estaba molestando harto rato y de verdad que no sé si es verdad lo que me dicen de acá. No sé qué onda. Vamos a hacérnoslo. Hay algo sí que me molesta. Conchetumare. Oh, bacán.
At the very end of the clip, the shopping cart moved on its own accord, which was disturbing to say the least. It was obvious that no visible force was acting upon the shopping cart, so whatever caused this must have not been visible to the human eye, leading me to believe it was an external entity, also known as a spirit. The following incident took place on an ordinary Tuesday evening in a small apartment building that had no reputation for being haunted. It was the kind of place where nothing out of the ordinary ever happened. No spooky rumors, no strange noises in the middle of the night, and certainly no tales of ghostly apparitions. In short, it was the last place anyone would expect something supernatural to occur. But as the old saying goes, never say never. Zach, a laid-back guy who preferred to unwind in his room after a long day, was minding his business when all of a sudden this happened.
Oh, fucking hella trash. But that's no reason for fucking shit to. That's no reason for to occur. You fucking douchebag. You fucking ass. Bro, chill. Easily explainable. Maybe I knocked down your shit. There was a whole situation where I moved. Where I moved your fucking.
Suddenly, a few items fell from the kitchen counter right in front of his very eyes. Startled, Zach sat up straight. He turned his head towards the items cautiously and knew that something was up. It was obvious that no items were acting upon the countered property. A purple snap is a feature on Snapchat that refers to a user sending a video to one of their friends. These are very useful for sending short and quirky videos to people in search of a quick laugh or an awe, and this is all Roger wanted to do. He was home alone and texting a girl, so he thought that it would be a good idea for him to start filming his dogs doing tricks before giving them each a treat to spark some more conversation. Now, on a surface level, there was absolutely nothing wrong with this idea, and nothing could have gone wrong. But of course, you're watching a haunter video, so something terrible must have happened. Take a look for yourself.
Sit. Good girls. Pow! Pow! Whatever. Let me get you a treat. Alright, wait. There it is. There you go. That was weird. Okay.
The drawer took it upon itself to open whilst Roger was in the room, and this sent him into a state of utter and complete shock. He quickly saved the snap to his camera roll and planned to upload it to YouTube, which is how I actually managed to get my hands on it. It is an unexplainable clip, and I cannot think of any way in which he could have made it up, but of course feel free to prove me wrong in the comments section. After uploading the footage to YouTube, Roger expected nothing more than a few likes and a bit of advice, but when little to nothing came from it, and nobody helped him out, he lost all sense of hope. Fortunately, the spirit had not made a second appearance, and it seemed to be a one-time instance, but just as this thought came to his head, this clip was taken. Afterwards, Roger decided that he was not going to tolerate this poltergeist for any longer and dialed a friend of a friend who happened to be a ghost hunter. They are currently in the process of cleansing the house of all demons, and we can only hope that Roger is okay soon. Leaving your house and becoming independent can be a difficult time for everybody, and it is pretty obvious as to why. The change from having your parents do everything for you to becoming completely self-reliant is super overwhelming, and this was the case for the young Russian man in our next video. He had only recently moved out into his own home, and was rather confident about the switch of lifestyle. Perhaps he should have been more cautious though, because what actually went down whilst he was alone was not nice at all. Just 3 days in, this was recorded. around his new home, things started to happen, and I bet he wished he had his mother's shoulder to cry on. He actually called his parents and asked to move back in to recover from this stressful experience, to which they fortunately took him in. I mean, fortunately. The following video took place in an unknown location, and the lore to it is very suspicious because, well, there is not much of it at all. All we know is that the woman behind the camera felt some form of weird and chilling feeling trickle down her spine, so thought that it would be a smart idea to record, and she was correct because what she captured was disturbing to say the least.
Miren esa camisa, anda sola, chicos. Estoy con los pelos de punta. Mira. ¿A ustedes les parece que me puede pasar esto?
The clinical bed slowly rolled its way down the corridor towards the woman filming the incident, and she was very fortunate that it rolled on past her, like she was not there. This would have been much spookier if it had come to a complete standstill or came back towards the camera at the end. Due to the object being a clinical bed, most people theorize that this took place in a hospital of some sort, meaning that the chances of this being a spirit would have been very high. Norwich CT State Hospital was a place that had no previous records of paranormal activity, which is a pretty clean record considering it was a hospital. One day, a guy and some of his friends decided to visit an abandoned section of this hospital late at night to try and prove that this place was in fact haunted, and after the video that they managed to capture it, is safe to say that they got their proof. The video took place at 2 in the morning, and the man filming explained afterwards that he had never felt a fear like that in his life, and furthermore, he could not sleep for days. Take a look.
That's not my phone. That's not my phone. You heard that, right? I don't know. You heard that. Dude, I swear. Dude, I swear to God it wasn't me. Oh my God, look at that.
To start the clip off the group, hear the voice of a female, which meant that it could not have been any of them, since they were all men. This creeped them out, but of course, it could have been one of them playing a silly prank, so they did not consider it to be too much of a threat. However, when the camera panned to an opening in the wall, a lanky white figure peeked into the building before noticing the camera set up and ducking back behind cover. This was a rare capture of an apparition, and a frightening one to say the least. This next video is going to have one big question that I am going to allow you guys to be the one to solve. Was the man in it crazy, or was he seriously experiencing something caused by entities from the underworld? It was very late at night, and the security guard, Matt, was on duty making sure to only allow legitimate patients into the clinic. They only accepted booked appointments at this time of night, so it was crucial that he did his job correctly, and in his mind, he did. However, the cameras said otherwise. In his mind, Matt was accepting a poor patient into the hospital who needed a wheelchair to enter, but in reality, he was really the victim of a poltergeist. As you can see, Matt believed that he was doing his job, but one glance at the camera told everybody that this was not the case. Matt must have witnessed a spirit which took the form of a human and was unfortunately invisible to a camera. When Matt was made aware of this, he stayed adamant that he was doing his job, but after seeing the CCTV footage, even he double-questioned himself. This remains one of the more unsolvable mysteries on this channel, but be sure to leave a verdict in the comments as to whether Matt was genuinely going insane or if this seemed to have a spiritual cause behind it. Most spirits will at least try to keep their acts subtle and leave a bit of mystery behind them, but the poltergeist in the following video did the exact opposite. It must have been on a mission to make itself as noticeable as possible, because if anybody in the room missed it, then they would seriously have to be checked for blindness. It took place in a nurse's clinic, and at the time she had no patients with her, so she was just enjoying her little break on her phone. The spirit present clearly didn't like the idea of her having any fun though, and decided to do this. All the ceiling tiles moved almost in unison, and the nurse made sure to take out her phone to capture what was going on. To her surprise, the spirit did not stop when she started filming it and supposedly started moving the tiles at an even faster rate, which was a very peculiar phenomenon indeed.